is possibility for us to have natural ability to handle in everything. Natural ability to handle everything because the energy is resourceful enough, such resourceful enough in a way that there's nothing that you really need to manufacture or you don't need to create anything. It's just like within this energy, everything seems to be complete. So here, and when we talk about being able to handle, which literally means that not there is something out there to handle, rather being able to really have opportunity to make sure this energy itself is independent and natural without fabricating and by conditioning it. So once you learn how it is not necessary to condition it, how you really cannot condition it, even if you are thinking that you are conditioning it. Like in your sleep, while you are dreaming, if you dream that you really run to really, quench your thirst, so much so that now you are really, reaching almost to the water, and but have not reached it. But in that sleep, you will be thirsty because you are dreaming that you are running for the water, but you are not reached there. However, if you are able to wake up from that sleep, the moment you woke up from that sleep, you realize that the water is not there, you're not running there, it is not necessary to run over there. Right on the table you have a glass of water to drink, or you may not need to drink because you may not be thirsty either. So in that sense, whatever we see so solid in the dream is real to the dreamer because one is in the sleep, in the ignorance. So in the ignorant world, everything seems real because there is conditional way for oneself to exist. And that conditional way for oneself to exist is not complete in itself. So here, really it seems to me that, waking up from that sleep, which to say, realizing that life is it. The life that we have is it. We do not need to have any other kind of life than this very life that we have in this very moment. And if you're able to seize this very moment completely as it is, naturally as it is, there is no room for any dualistic conception. Therefore, there is no room for any suffering. The liberation is accessible in this very moment, and how, you are able to really relate to this. And good and bad, these all are so like a dualistic conception which exists when we are in the ignorant world, when we are not awakened. So moment you are awakened and there is nothing as such, we exist in a conditional way. When we are relating to non-duality, it is very clear that as life as such that we are experiencing now, in this very moment, is an energy. This energy is full of clarity, like a sun and rays. Sun and rays are within this space. So where the sun and the moon and stars resides in this space. So in that space, whatever is happening in this space, everything like sun and moon, everything is natural. Nothing is unnatural about it. Because this everything, universe and its inhabitants are within the space, within the sky. So if you go and look to find the space and try to hold on to it, there's nothing there that you can hold on to it. But within that space, everything that we are holding on to it and we are trying to hold on to it, or we don't hold on to it, and everything is in this. Within this space, there is heaven, there is hell. All this heaven and hell as such, like day and night, are within this space. That is very, very clear to us. When this is in that space, so everything that is arising is natural. So in this natural manifestation, there is completeness in itself. Moment you realize it is complete, there is no room for dualistic conception. When you find that you are not able to actualize and embrace this energy as complete, in that moment, dualistic conception arises. Why? Because that energy is not complete. Therefore, you borrow energy from the past in the form of habits to condition this energy where you haven't found this energy itself is complete. So therefore, you add habits and the powers. And from the habit, you add and you try to condition it. So how you condition it? You borrow from the future. So this energy, since you are not able to embrace as complete, as natural as possible, as nakedly as possible, instead of this energy becoming independent, future energy, or energy right after that, you borrow to condition this, add to this. So therefore, you create dualistic. Therefore, you create separation because you are separated from the essence itself. So if you are able to completely integrate in the essence, because essence of the every energy is residing in the space, which means essence of every energy is not something that you can really solidify or identify. Therefore, you have to go beyond conceptualization. When you are able to go beyond conceptualization, there is no dualistic view. There is no duality. So this is fundamental way to truly understand with common sense, actually. So once you are able to understand this view, then we are able to have opportunity to get used to this view, meaning we are able to prioritize this view as who we are. Meaning, in the form of emptiness, there is no birth, there is no death, there is no cessation. So there is no existence, because space is never born. Space never ceases. Space never exists, and also cannot be solidified in any conditional way. So when you are not able to do that, realize that when there is no need for you to do that, then there is no room for dualistic conception to exist. There is no room for duality. So until then, there will be always duality, So then, even if there is duality, let's say good and bad. So you say, okay, you become charitable, you become generous, which is good, right? So you choose that good part instead of being miserly, instead of being attaching, to your material. You realize, okay, materials are not here forever. Materials are not going to give you happiness. If you are free from attachment, then you are independent. So therefore, you act, you involve in a charitable activity, such as generosity. Yeah, that's good, but it's still dualistic. You are generous, you are generous because you don't want to be miserly. So this kind of dualistic way helps you as you practice generosity more and more. Generosity opens you up to have the wisdom to realize a real essence of yourself, abundance of everything. And so this is like a slowly, and you are able to approach. So this is again another approach, which is much more gradual approach